It happened. Hunter Dickinson saved Michigan's season for another day, maybe for another week, maybe a week from now. He didn't save their season. But for today, Hunter Dickinson saved Michigan's season. I could taste the NIT. I could see it. I was laying on my living room floor in agony, knowing no matter what happened, the NIT was mine. And then Hunter Dickinson just said no. Miraculous shot. Shades of Trey Burke, shades of Jordan Poole from Michigan's big man, who now has his signature moment as a Michigan Wolverine. Carter, it's good to see you. It's good to hear from you. I wasn't sure if I would. You blocked me on Twitter. You removed yourself from every group chat that you and I are in. But for the people, you showed up today. That says something, my friend.
Hey, I would like it to be known that I blocked you on Thursday, and I don't think you noticed. And when you block someone on Twitter, you leave every group that you're in with them on Twitter too. So I didn't technically leave every group. I just blocked you.
Why'd you block me on Thursday?
I'd have to go back. I'm an emotional being.
I don't think anything was wrong for Michigan State on Thursday.
I don't know. Maybe we just weren't in a good place.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, somehow you've unblocked me for this moment, which is a huge upset. Cart, last time I had this ski mask on, this fake ski mask, it was to mock Hunter Dickinson. Mm-hmm. I've said a lot of critical things about Hunter the person, about Hunter the player through the years. Now I wear this mask in pure tribute to the man that Hunter Dickinson is. I've officially accepted him, man. I've accepted, like, he's not ever going to be the leader that I want him to be. But when your back's against the wall, there might not be 5 other players in the country I'd rather have on my team than Hunter Dickinson, given the last 3 seasons. Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, it's not. And the for me, what I want to comment on is the like signature Michigan moment. Like he had his that's why I'm not yelling, am I? Because I got noise canceling headphones on. I'm not yelling at you, am I?
You sound good, but I also have a homemade ski mask over my ears, so I don't know.
Okay, so who knows how that's affecting. But yeah, it's just like he had his Michigan State moment. So like he had his rivalry moment. When I think about great Michigan players, or like, you know, good Michigan players, whatever you want to say, the Michigan players that went on to be successful, they had a moment at Michigan, just in general, the landscape of the program, and they had a moment in the rivalry for the most part. That might not be true, but that's just how I kind of look at it. And this was Hunter's moment, like a program moment. It's not us exaggerating saying this shot pulled them out of the NIT. They were literally toast. I mean, toast. They blew an 11-point lead. They were in control for most of the game. They got a career high out of Kobe Buffkin. They got all this going on. Like, everything was going their way. I texted you. I'm like, Michigan is hooping right now. Like, they are going. Where has this been all year? This is crazy. Like, this team, it actually looks really, really good. And then that happened. They blew the lead. Things happened. Obviously, we'll get to that probably later in the episode. But with all that said, there's 2 seconds left. There's all types of stuff going on. Juwan's calling 2 timeouts in a row. Like, I am by my phone. I have my phone fired up. My drafts are toxic right now. Let that be known.
Wait, can we read from some of your drafts before this video ends? Can we end this video literally with you reading some of the drafts?
Yeah, I will read some of the drafts. But with that said, like, I mean, just straight up, just an amazing shot. Like, you literally pulled his team back from the depths of the NIT, and they really control their own destiny. And I would say they're probably on the right side of, you know, making a run, controlling their destiny, whatever term you want to use. But like, they were dead in the water. Like, Max Klesmit was banking in threes. It was some nasty business going on, and they somehow found a way. And Hunter Dickinson bangs a tray, and I don't even want to know what's going through his head right now, because I know how he operates. That man can't be touched right now, and honestly, for good reason. He saved the program.
Right. I'm picturing what college you would have been like, and what would have said and done if you had that moment. Like,
I probably would have stood outside of whatever building I wanted my statue in front of until they got the construction team out there to put the mold of me hitting the shot until the statue was built.
And I think this might be something we haven't fully acknowledged or maybe appreciated with Hunter in his career thus far, is that I think the legacy shit actually really matters to him. Like I get
Oh,
that sense from
but
talking to him a little bit.
yeah, but here's why I'll cut you off, because I think the legacy matters to him, but it matters to him because he cares. Like I don't know. It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah, no, it's not a.
It-
I mean, I think Hunter loves Michigan. I genuinely do believe that. But like,
yeah.
I think that Hunter's personal ranking in Michigan basketball history 100% matters to him, and he knows like you make the NIT, there's going to be a connotation with that. Like it's going to be hard to consider you one of the Michigan greats if this season went out the way it looked like it was heading out. All that said, like he just made the shot. If that shot misses, which it does, 19 out of 20 times, like we're not having this conversation. It's a totally different angle. But yeah, he was asked in the post game after, like, Hunter, was that your last game at Chrysler? Because this was their final home game of the season. He was like, huh? Like, I don't think so. So like, now I'm starting to think shit, man. Like all this talk about, oh, he's going to transfer. He's just done. They're done with each other. Like they make another NCAA tournament because Hunter had a play like this. And it wasn't just the play. This was his best game of the season to me. And he had quiet scoring when Wisconsin made the run in the second half. But like he was seeing a lot of double teams again. He had a 6-minute stretch at the end of the first half that was all I've ever wanted from Hunter Dickinson. I mean, he had like 8 quick points, and it was like, I don't know if you noticed this or not. I know you're watching the game, but genuinely, he had a lot of opportunities tonight where he could have done his typical clown show, talking shit, pointing at the nuts. He wasn't really doing that tonight. And I'm not saying that like mattered or not, but like it was like all the clown shit was pushed to the side. We have to get this win. And I thought his play the whole game embodied that. And then when it mattered most, he had the moment, which is a moment like only greats at schools have. And if they end up making the NIT, we forget about this. But like now they're in a position they need one game out of the next 2 at Illinois, at Indiana. Easier said than done because both those teams are very talented. And it's the senior night for both Illinois and Indiana. Like Michigan's going to be a true underdog in both of these games. But at least they're in position because you lose this game today, it was never going to happen. So I don't know. I quickly on the shot, and then I want to get into some of the end game stuff with Juwan. Out of like all the shots, buzzer beaters that you can think of, I'll just frame mine in Michigan standpoint. I think this was the most unlikely one to go in. Like if I think like the Trey Burke Kansas shot is kind of just like, oh yeah, that's Trey. Like Trey does some shit like that. He makes shit that like shouldn't be possible. Jordan Poole, though at the time he was a bench guy, it was kind of like, oh, like he's an absurd guy. Like anytime he touched the ball, absurd shit happened. Hunter, like catching the ball, 1, he had to contested catch it. 2, to have the wherewithal to like rip through and take a dribble in 2 seconds from out there and then bang a 3 from NBA.
Did he take a dribble?
He took a dribble cart. Like
I might have missed that because I know like him and Jordan Davis went up for the ball and I thought it kind of like was loose for a second, but did he take a dribble before he shot it?
Yeah, so he positioned Jordan Davis off with the left arm bar and then went up and caught it. And in the process, Jordan Davis kind of goes to the side, leaves him a little bit. But like, you know, when Hunter catches that, in my mind, I'm like, oh, he's just going to heave some bullshit up. No, like he ripped through like a guard, positioned himself up and banged that shit. He did.
All right. I get it. All right, it's a good shot, but what we're not going to do is just suck rip throughs.
Oh, what other big in the country?
Come on, man.
Is Drew Timmy doing that? Is Drew Timmy doing that? Is Trace doing that?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyone
is Zach Edey doing that? Is Oscar maybe doing that? I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, well, they're also not in that position. None of those bigs that you named are in a position where they're fighting for their lives.
That's fair.
Maybe Sheway, but okay. But I also want to say this because
this mask is killing me. By the way,
I'm sorry. It's added to the episode though. I'm sorry. Like the whole
okay.
And him tweeting a picture of himself in the mask after the game, also very elite.
I might need to tweet a picture of myself in this right now. Hold on.
Please do. But also listen to what I'm saying. Can we comment really quick on Wisconsin's like end of game strategy, just like really quickly? Like how do you watch this whole weekend and not foul up 3?
I mean,
not on the Hunter one, because on the Hunter one, there's 2 seconds. There's 2 seconds left, so maybe. I mean, honestly, even so, like if Hunter's catching it, if I'm Jordan Davis right there, and I somehow missed that, I don't know. Maybe find a way to. Obviously, that's probably tough to foul right there with 2 seconds because it could be 50-50 on whether it's shooting. But I just don't understand how you watch this whole weekend in particular, or just in general in the scale of basketball, and not foul up three? I know this from
Yeah.
experience from my own goddamn team. Like, why? Why?
So I think there's different situations. That's how I would coach it. That's how I did coach it in high school, by the way. Like, I think tonight when Michigan had to go the length of the court with no timeout, I thought they could have fouled Doug beyond half court with like 5 seconds left in the game. That's what I probably would have done. I do think that's easier said than done, though. Like, I think it's really easy to just be like, you should have fouled. Like, the reason that doesn't happen much successfully is because, one, I don't think teams practice this nearly as much as they should. Teams are always flustered when they have to like foul on the fly. And two, unless a player is super like aware and understanding of his role in that moment, like, players are scared to become the story when they have to foul. Like, it's a lot easier as a defensive player if you lose this game to just be like, oh, well, damn, Hunter Dickinson banged one. That was crazy. Than it would be for like Jordan Davis to like somehow get a flagrant accidentally trying to foul or like foul a shooter. Like,
yeah,
I just think there's a psychological element to it, is all I'm saying. And I don't think Wisconsin was prepared for it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to come to agree on that or whatever. I see it from both ways, but I've always, I don't know, at least every coach I played for, it's always consistently foul up three. And honestly, it's something we practice. So I don't know, maybe different people do it differently. And obviously in a big situation too, it's you'd be surprised. Obviously, because you coach at a certain level, how players fold or forget shit that you go over in practice or talk about all the time, how when you're in high pressure situations, they fold. But we have to go back because I just watched it. There's no way we're sucking this rip through. It wasn't a rip through, Gregory. He grabbed it. He took a dribble. It wasn't a rip through. I can't believe I let you get away with that. That mask is tightening over your brain lobes.
I thought it was a rip through.
No, it wasn't. You're a rip through. The only thing you ripped through was that ski mask, okay?
Okay.
But congratulations to your program.
Thank you.
And your happiness.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been in shambles. That's obvious at this point. So let's talk some end game stuff and some just team stuff quickly, and then we'll move on to the other videos we want to do. End of this game, Juwan takes 2 timeouts in one huddle. They had 2 timeouts left. They were down 1 point, I believe, and there was about 20 seconds left. And the end game of this game was crazy, by the way. Like, the possession before this, Kobe hits a pro move, which I don't know how much people listen to this watch Michigan. I would assume a lot, but like Kobe Buffkin with that dribble to the right. I know you say only go left. When he goes right, it's to pull up. And his pull-up jumper going right is becoming one of the more unguardable things in the conference right now. Like, he has hit that consistently for about a month. And whenever Michigan needs a bucket, that seems to be the shot he goes to. And it's like a Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway. Like, just nobody's getting a hand on that if Kobe Buffkin wants that shot. Tonight, it was really contested. He hit it. Then Wisconsin comes down the next possession. Greg Gard takes a timeout. Sejan, I mean, he killed tonight. We saw him at Kohl Center, and he was 0 for 10. I mean, tonight he was 1 for 8 from the 3-point line, and he still was cooking. I mean, he ended up, I think it was 24 points he ended up with, something like that. Every which way.
Maybe, something like that.
Every which way. And come to find out he's a Michigan fan?
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
They've had that on ice the whole year.
I mean, that hurts me, Cart, because I've literally said out loud Connor Sejan's my favorite player in the country all season long, other than Boo Booey. So to imagine what Connor could look like in a Michigan uniform crushes my soul right now. But anyways, Michigan comes down. Juwan calls timeout, 20 seconds left or so, calls another timeout. Like, oh God. Every time they've been in this position before this season, the ball's gone into Jett Howard's hands. Jett Howard has not played in 3 games now. Coincidentally, Michigan has been winning games. Ball ends up in Kobe Buffkin's hands. I actually tweeted about this, and I got called out correctly by Eric Shapiro, who's a basketball mind I really respect. He's like he breaks down a lot of film, does X's and O's stuff. And I emotionally tweeted after the play where Kobe ends up driving left. Everybody's cleared out on the left side. They're all on the right. Kobe ends up trying a little left-hand runner layup type thing. It gets blocked. Some said he got hit in the head. I end up just tweeting super emotionally like, Juwan Howard used 2 timeouts to call an isolation for Kobe Buffkin. Like, Michigan is essentially headed up to the NIT now. Like, they're going to have to freelance here. They have no more timeouts. And Of course, that's kind of what happened. Like Wisconsin goes to the line, hits their 2 free throws. Michigan gets the ball across half court. The ball gets knocked out of bounds with 2 seconds left. Again, no timeout. At this is a point you'd either want to take trying to get it across half court or set some sort of half court play up in the final 5 seconds. You don't have a timeout. I thought Michigan's action with 2 seconds left was essentially a failure. Like they apparently in the postgame, they said they tried to run to Joey Baker and he was just guarded. He just ran to the ball side corner and was just purely guarded the whole time. So your safety valve is throw it up to Hunter, and Hunter made a great play. But like, again, that shot's not going in more than 1 out of 20 times, being generous. So what did you think of the end game? The just coaching, I guess. I don't want to be overly critical of Juwan, but I like the using 2 timeouts thing is still baffling to me.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't know if someone asked that in the post game. Maybe there's probably something in the presser I can look up to see it, but it really didn't make sense to me, especially knowing the situation, knowing that it probably could come down to a situation where they make 2 free throws. Like looking ahead a couple possessions, you could see yourself in a situation where you're going to need a timeout. And I just don't really understand how when you have the ball on offense, I mean, obviously you can see someone on defense seeing what their setup is. You call back-to-back timeouts because you see kind of what their play was about to be, but that really made no sense to me. I'm not upset at the Kobe Buffkin going left like play because I feel like it was working for a majority of the game. And that's who had the hot hand. And I'm not the biggest advocate of throwing it into the post for like last second shots or possessions.
Well,
so I mean
that shocks me with you being who you are.
I mean, that's the way it is. I just have to accept that. It's ass, but you got to accept it.
Okay.
Like you don't throw it in the post for that.
Can I say that I don't accept that with specific to this Michigan team? So like people know this, but like they've had so many losses that have been a final possession game this year. So many. Mm-hmm. Like it's not as much as this team, they're a bubble team, blah, blah, blah. Like if they won 50% of their close games that came down to the final possession, they'd be like a 6 seed this year. But today's the first one that came down to the final possession that they won. And when I look back on the whole year, Cart, the one thing I would say, Hunter Dickinson has not ever had the ball in his hands to make a play in any of those moments until today. And it wasn't even by design. The ball just ended up in his hands. And miraculously, your best player makes the shot. Like, I don't know. I really can't live and die with, I mean, Kobe's come on in a big way. And so is Doug McDaniel, by the way. But I'd much rather live and die by Hunter Dickinson than I would by other things. I know it's hard to just get a post touch, but like, is it really that hard? Like if they're going to send a double on the final play, like let them double and then let Kobe create off the residual action, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I see it I might have been mistaken. Was Terrace on the floor at the end of the game?
I'm trying to remember who the 5th was. He was on.
I don't think he was. Right?
He was on for like the big final stretch, but I think they might have brought in T. Will in the final.
T. Will, okay. Because even so, like with Kobe going to the basket, you got a great opportunity to get a rebound off that too. I mean, that's one of the main things you could be critical about is that not only is Jett missing, he's missing so bad he's not even giving his teammates opportunities to get the ball. Like, and he's shooting it so late and being so indecisive, there's not even an opportunity for a second chance tipping or anything like that. So I don't know. I guess I see it your way with Hunter, but at the same time, like I saw Kobe Buffkin clinic going left in this game and doing that to the right dribble pull up. So you know what? I'm not mad about going to him in this situation. I would be kind of mad if it was like a Doug McDaniel's hot and they went to Doug McDaniel down the stretch over a guy like Hunter. But I'm not gonna bark at going to my first round NBA draft pick who's been cooking all game.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, go
to your pro.
I like the ball in Kobe's hands too. Yeah, go to your pro. Which pro would be my answer when a couple guys are back healthy? We'll see.
With who was playing today? There was one pro.
Different levels to pros, but
there was one NBA player.
Correct. You're right there. Last thing, Jett. I went on Stu Douglas's podcast last week. Everybody should listen to that if you have not yet. It was really fun. I love Stu and much higher basketball level, like Michigan within the context of like what Michigan basketball runs discussion than I've ever been a part of. So I really enjoyed that. What We talked about Jett. Is Michigan better without Jett? That's a fair question at this point. I think when I was on Stu's episode, we kind of agreed it's not even a fair question. And we explained why. There's things we think Michigan is better at without Jett, but there's just no way to objectively say they're a better team. I still feel that way. However, it's very clear to me at this point that when Jett is allowed to play a 35-minute role where he is expected to take 15 to 17 shots a game, 5 to 6 of which are by design tough shots, this team is better without Jett in that role. I don't know if Jett will end up in that role when he comes back healthy or not. But man, Joey Baker has not even played well, in my opinion, for what Joey Baker can do. He's doing a lot more little things defensively, communication-wise, just not needing the ball in his hands constantly, that has now led to success for guys like Doug McDaniel and Kobe Buffkin that, in my opinion, were not happening when Jett Howard was there. What's your take on the Jett situation?
So I first want to get my statement. I think that right now, Jett Howard is a losing basketball player. I think he does things that contribute more to losing basketball games than winning basketball games. With that said, I don't think that you could ever say that a team is better without a player who's projected to be an NBA first-round draft pick. I've always stood that way. I always felt that way about anybody. Like, looking back to, I don't know, let's go to last year. Like, people said that Memphis was better without Amani Bates. I still disagree with that because I think Amani Bates is an NBA talent. It didn't work out? No. Could it have been handled differently? Yes. But at the same time, I just don't think removing a first-round NBA talent is necessarily better for your team. I feel like that's a stretch. Now, what I will say is that I think that Jett could be handled a lot differently on this basketball team so that it maybe wouldn't look so bad on him. And I wouldn't say things such as he's a losing basketball player, because picture in today's game, let's say that Kobe's shot wasn't falling, right? And let's say Doug's shot wasn't falling. And then that leaves you with Hunter, basically. If you have Jett out there, you could use Jett as another option to be a bucket, which he could be for this basketball team. I just think it's more so the fact that every time Jett's in the game, it's 35 minutes, it's 17 shots. Maybe not a lot of them are good, maybe a lot of them are bad. Maybe some of them go in, maybe they don't. And you have piss poor defensive effort and piss poor rebounding. That's every single game that he plays in my eyes, unless there's some anomalies that I've missed.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so you can't say that you're better without Jett Howard. I think that's just blatantly wrong. But at the same time, you need to be able to. You need to get over. I don't want to blame it on it being Juwan's son type thing, but there's something there. Like, he's not held to the other standard that players are on this team, I think. And I think if he was handled differently, it would affect Michigan in a more positive way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you nailed it, to be honest. I don't have much to add to that. I don't know that I think that's going to change, though. That's sort of like how they integrate Jett Howard this final week of the season is going to be the number one thing I care about with Michigan.
It kind of sucks too, because if he does come back and let's say you lose, it's gonna be we lost because of Jett, and maybe it is, but also it could not be. But that's gonna be like the easy, oh, Jett's back, we lost. But
yeah.
I have every belief inside of me that Jett Howard would have Max Klesman and Carter Gilmore in the fucking torture chamber.
Yeah,
maybe not defensively, but those guys can't check him.
He would have
a lot of guys can.
He would have at least shot better from three than Joey did today.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So, yeah, how they integrate him will be massive, because if they could get Jett Howard in a lower usage role for maybe just like 30 minutes, 28 to 30 minutes instead of the 35 he had been playing, I like the team. I like the way they're playing, man. This is now a lot of Februarys in a row where Michigan has won a lot of games, and they've turned their season around pretty consistently under Juwan Howard. So, final question, where does this team's season end? Do they make the tournament? Are they an NIT team? If they make the tournament, how far do they go?
So I think the last two games, I see 0-2. I do see 0-2. But I do think that they'll get maybe one win in the Big Ten tournament and like be stressing on Selection Sunday. And I think they'll squeak in to like the play-in.
Okay.
I think so. But it's so crazy because there's so many like teams like ruining things around the country, like how bubble teams are going left and right. It's just I mean, who
Yeah.
really knows?
It's a wild
I
year.
hate
The bubble is
I
weak.
hate
That's what they tell me
I
on the
hate
field of 68 bracket
I hate
college.
I hate basketball.
Uh, well, we're going to talk your team in a minute. I think Michigan gets one of these final two. I think they make the tournament. If I had to guess, actually, this might shock you. I think they lose to Illinois, and I think they spoil TJD's senior day. Sounds crazy, but TJD's a little banged up to me right now. That's the rumor. Like he did not look himself in the Purdue game, and I think Hood Schifino going nuclear won them that game. I don't know that Hood Schifino is going to do that every game. Maybe we'll see. But
he started to be kind of consistent with it though.
Yeah, he's got some Buffkin where they're both like kind of doing this every game now, and you can't really doubt that it's coming. But all right. Well, good luck to your team, Cart. Thanks for. Oh, I want to end with your drafts. Can we get a couple drafts?
Yeah. 1 second. At Brown Jug, you might want to have some happy hour specials during Selection Sunday. Let's see. NIT Roundball episode is gonna slap. Podcaster disappear in the second half. LOL. And then that picture of me standing on the ice at Wisconsin. And then like a fadeaway picture of the back of Jawan, like in a long sleeve one with his hand over his face like this.
Nice.
Yeah, but those will stay on ice for now.
All right.
Probably forever. I might as well delete them.
Keep them in there. I'm sure there will be future times. All right, Cart. Thanks.